morning, loves. Happy Sunday and welcome back to Image. I pray you all had a blessed week. Now, as we continue our discussion on identity, I want to ask you one question. Who are you trying to please? This is by far one of the most challenging topics, given that God created us to need each other in order to grow. But there is a slippery slope when it comes to pleasing others. Every action we take begins with a thought, and everything we do either pleases God or man. When you aim to please man, you look for happiness in others instead of within yourself, and you look for approval out of the fear of rejection. Now, one of my favorite books, as you all may know by now, is called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. In the book, he discusses the concept of the fear of rejection. In the book, it states, "To be alive is the biggest fear humans have. Death is not the biggest fear we have. Our biggest fear is taking the risk to be alive. The risk to be alive and express what we really are. Just being ourselves is the biggest fear of humans. We have learned to live our lives trying to satisfy other people's demands. We have learned to live by other people's points of view because of the fear of not being accepted and not being good enough for someone else." You see, we will reject ourselves in order to be accepted and loved by others. This is what I call the people-pleasing trap. I can honestly say that I struggled in this area from the time that I was a child into my early 20s. I fell into the trap of being a people-pleaser. As a child, I aimed to please my parents. And as a teen, I aimed to please my parents, my teachers, and my peers. The yearning to be accepted by others outweighed my own personal wants and needs, all the way to the point where my happiness depended on the happiness of others. It was almost easier to do what others expected and wanted me to do versus disappointing them or even disagreeing with them. There came a point in my early 20s where I just became tired of being a people pleaser. I realized that I had lived a great portion of my life so far being who other people thought or wanted me to be versus being who God created me to be. I was not only compromising, but I was shutting off this phenomenal individual that God created. You see, I've come to learn that we all want to be loved and accepted by others so much that we will abandon the divine DNA that God instilled in us in order to be accepted, loved, liked, and viewed a certain way by other people. But when you live with the intent to please others, you are at the mercy of judgment from other people. Overcoming the fear of rejection is as easy as listening to the opinion of others, but not overvaluing what they say. It is imperative to find happiness within. This is the importance of knowing your identity, because when you know your identity in Him, nothing anyone can say or do will shake you, and everything you do will aim to please Him. Here are a few of my favorite verses that remind me daily to keep my focus on Him. Galatians 1 verse 10. "Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ." Proverbs 29 verse 25. "Fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord will be kept safe." I hope that just as these verses remind me daily to please God in all that I do, that these verses remind you too to keep your focus on Him. So today, I want to challenge you to focus on pleasing the one above instead of pleasing those around you. As always, I pray you have a blessed day and that you make today magnificent.